Let's go into our working folder. Look for a document with the name swatches.psd. We are talking about the wonderful world of color, and what could be more wonderful than the Swatches panel? I think we know what goes on here. The Swatches panel holds colors. If we click on a color over here, it becomes the foreground color over here and becomes our painting color, our gradient color, whatever. But the Swatches panel to me can be very valuable because you can save your own specific sets of colors. Now this is a standard set. If we click here, I can load all kinds of different sets. But if Adobe gave me 1,000,000 different sets, there would probably be 1 or 2 sets that I would like to have that they didn't give me. So let's talk a little bit about saving our own sets. And I've got a trick here I want to show you too. I can come over here and say start pulling flesh tones off of her face and then save them like a flesh tone library, which is not a bad thing to do. Maybe fall color library. You have all these different colors, but I don't want to add them in with all of these and just kind of stick them in at the bottom. I want to get rid of these and just have a flesh tone library. So you do this. You hold the Alt key down, that's Alt in Windows and Option on a Mac, and you start clicking on these things, and it takes you about a minute or two, and you eventually empty out the panel. So there's nothing in it. Incidentally, you cannot have a Swatches panel with nothing in it. You have to have at least one swatch. But that takes a minute or two to do, and then you can fill it and populate it with what you want. So I came up with a trick here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go down to Reset, take it back to the way it was. I don't want to append onto that. Just click OK, and don't save the one we just tried to create. We're back to where we were. If I come back up here again, you're going to see something that you don't have. Not yet, anyway. Blank set. You can make your own sets. Well, that's why we're here. If I click blank set and say OK, there are only 2 things in it, one black and one white. And like I said, you've got to have at least one swatch in the swatch panel. Now I can come over here, say pick up my eyedropper tool. Incidentally, when you're sampling things like flesh tones and colors in nature, you probably want to change the sample size from 0.0 to 3x3. So I come over here and I click here, move over here, go ahead and click OK. You could give it a name if you want to. Try a couple more real quick here. So we're making our own Swatches panel of flesh tones. Now let's stop there. Go back up to this button here and go into Save Swatches. In Save Swatches, we give it a name up here. Now you can see my other set here, blank set, and I have one more called Dodge and Burn. And I want to save these now in this area. This is important. It will put it here by default in color swatches, and you should put them there. If you put them in this area, basically what happens is when you reopen up the panel, it'll be in that list that you saw. If you put them someplace else, you're going to have to find them on your own. So I click Save, and there we go. Now I can go back up here and go into Reset, click OK. In order for them to show up inside of the Swatches panel, you have to close and reopen Photoshop. So let me do that now for you real quick. Okay, now we come up here and we go down, and there it is. You can make color sets out of literally anything you want. All you have to do is put them into your own Swatches panel. Now there's one more way we can do this. I want to show you something. Let me go ahead and go down to my original down here that said blank set. Okay, so we're back to just those 2. Let's say you're working on a website. Let's say you're browsing the internet and you're looking for colors, and you see a website that you really like, and you'd like those colors. Now, what we used to do years ago is we'd take a screenshot of that website, we would bring it into Photoshop, and we'd use our eyedropper to take the samples. But you weren't really getting the exact colors. Watch this. Come up here and click Load Swatches. I'm going to go into and find a site that I work on that has HTML pages in it. And here they are. So I find a website that I like. I maneuver to it to get to it and click Open and watch what happens. It adds the colors that were on that website automatically to a swatch panel. I can then save this panel and use those colors as I see fit in my own designs. The Swatches panel, to me, is a very important part of working in color, obviously. But it's not just using the standard swatches. It's creating your own swatch panels and using them. That's where the power lies.